And this week's half-off deal is to Cops, which has more than delicious pizza. They have various other things. You can dine in, carry out, or delivery from Cops. 3 convenient locations right here in Omaha. Deals on sale Friday at 9 o'clock. That is $50 worth of vouchers for just $25 at 1620thezone.com. And once again, stay tuned to this show all week because we might have opportunities for you to just win the $50 without paying the $25. If you miss out on that, you can find the half-off deal, which is very good still. 1620thezone.com. Perusing around the FanDuel Sportsbook as I do, Josh, I noticed there was a NCAA tab. That's the F stands for football. That's right. And you go game. There's a few select games that you could choose from that have spreads on them at the moment. Michigan is 11.5-point favorites against Washington in a national championship game rematch on October 5th next year. Ohio State is already 7-point favorites against Michigan for their regular season finale matchup. Georgia plays Texas next year. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that you could find.
Fun.
How about this? A line for Colorado and North Dakota State.
That's what we're looking for.
Buffs minus 8.5. I know someone who might be interested in that already. But then there's another tab, and it says win totals. There's Heisman, and then there's win totals. And you could check on every team. Every team has win totals. I thought this would be a bigger deal around here, but here it is. Nebraska's win total, 7.5, 7.5, with the juice, meaning more people are going to pick this than the other side, on the under. The under,
the undies,
minus 164. The over at plus 134 via our friends from the FanDuel Sportsbook right now. Josh.
Yes.
It's February 13th.
It is.
We haven't hit spring ball yet. The pain and sadness it's just a figment of my imagination at this point. It can be all happy times from now until August.
You're going to ask me, aren't you?
No. Oh, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
Sorry.
Well, I might.
Please.
But that's not what I was building
I
toward.
didn't mean to interrupt.
I feel more optimistic right now. And this is coming from me, notoriously optimistic person who, I'm usually about like a win or a half a win above everybody else when we get that close to the season. And I still maintain that you get more optimistic, as Unsportsmanlike Conduct's poll questions have shown throughout the years. You get more optimistic as we get closer and closer and closer to the season. I'm telling you right now, Josh, that I'm starting from a very high place. A very high place.
Okay.
I know
you're high right now.
I know the over is plus 136. I love that.
You love it.
I love that. I'll love it even more in September, barring any sort of big time injury or anything like that. I love it. I think that's a low number for them right now.
I mean, you got to win 6 of the first 7, right?
Like, we don't have to do game by game yet. Just big picture right now. How do you feel? How does 7.5 sit with you?
It feels like it is. Yeah, that's the line. Like that's
the right line.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're less optimistic than I
am. Yeah, but just because I've been hurt so many times before, it's not because of anything they've done. It's not.
Oh, come on! Forget about that stuff.
This is a new era.
That's in the past. Don't worry about any of that stuff.
But don't get me wrong. I look at that schedule heading into Ohio State and I go, that's sexy.
You have to understand, Vegas is trying to take advantage of you, Josh.
Me?
They're trying to take advantage of the people who say exactly what you just said.
But we have a give and take relationship.
I've been burned by this team too many times. I'm a nerd, and I look at the game. I look at the totals from the last couple years, and this program is cursed, and blah, 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 blah. They're all trying to take advantage of you because they know that you're going to take the under. And I'll be sitting here as the smart man who on February 13th would have absolutely no problem betting over 7.5. No problem. And I'm getting paid to do it. I'm getting plus 136. It sounds beautiful to me right now.
This is a reputable book, too.
Nebraska has a good to great defense with all of their pieces returning, an improved skill unit, wide receivers, and we'll see about running backs. They have a vastly improved quarterback position, vastly. Even in the worst case scenario, it's slightly better than it was last year. In the worst case scenario, Nebraska's quarterback play is still better than it was in 2023 when they won 5 games.
Definitely.
And they came within inches of winning 3 more. In the worst case scenario. Their offensive line is another year past. Their coaching staff, they got the stuff figured out with who gets to coach who and all that crap. This team is going to be better. I'm telling you that with great certainty. They'll be better.
That last thing you said, where if they had a competent quarterback, they would have won 8 games last year.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. That's...
Do you think, Josh, that young Dylon is competent? Or are you trying to say that he's incompetent? Are you trying to tell me that Dylon is incompetent?
I think he can handle the snap. Yes.
Because I spit hot fire.
He does spit hot.
Why don't you want to do this? Come on, join me. I'm on the right side of this.
I really need to
know. I promise you I'm on the right side of this.
I really need to know what USC and Wisconsin are going to be.
Who cares? Don't think about it too much, Josh. Just go with it. Go with your feeling. Come on, chase that. And then we'll get into it in a second. But we'll tear it apart game by game and very briefly.
Connor, it's February 13th. Let's do it. I'm in.
The Ovies.
Over.
The Ovies?
Ovies?
I don't think so. Probably not.
Where Nick Boss zigs, we zag. The Connor Happer Show.
I can't tell you how good I feel about that. I hope that number stays right there because I'd be obviously a little bit scared to do it if it was a full win higher than that. But I feel really good about that. I don't know. I just explained it, I guess. I think their defense is going to be at the very least as good as it was last year. They have all their players back. I think they're going to be able to not turn the ball over 100 times on offense, and that pretty much tells your story. You don't think that's responsible for 2 more wins? It already would have been last year. And their schedule's not that hard. All the people yelling about the schedule and all this crap, I don't want to hear it.
It's really not.
I don't want to hear it. UTEP, Colorado, Northern Iowa, Illinois, Purdue, Rutgers, and Indiana to start. There's 7 games right there.
You should be 7-0, but there's even wiggle room
Sure.
to go 6-1.
We'll throw 6-1 in there. That's fine. Ohio State is going to be very difficult. You're not going to win. I'm sorry.
I don't think you're going into the shoe and pulling that off.
Ohio State's going to win the national championship next year.
Whoa.
Yeah, go ahead and put that one in there too. Ohio State's going to win the national championship next year.
Ryan Day is coaching for his job.
Will Howard and Ohio State's going to win the national championship next year. UCLA is going to stink. USC might stink. Wisconsin, who knows? Iowa, they stink. You tell me Nebraska can't beat Iowa? The one year that Nebraska had competent quarterback play, they did beat Iowa. Do you remember? It's like we forget so easily. Nebraska going to be good next year.
It's at Kinnick.
Nebraska is going to be good at football next year. That's maybe even more of a statement than the above 7. I think Nebraska is going to be good to a lot
of predictions.
Potentially really good.
Do I dare dream?
The window, all I'm saying is the window is open. So this has a chance to be kind of deflating on the other side, because if they end up stinking next year, then you're like, oh man, is this as good as it gets? What are we supposed to do about this? Are we really cursed? Is this really happening to us? Then we'll discuss that at the time. But you just dive headfirst. Dive headfirst right in. This is my advice to everybody always. Dive headfirst in. If there turns out to be no water in the pool, you break your neck and you live to fight another day.
It feels good, Connor.
Water's nice.
Feels good to dream.
Jesse writes in on the text line.
Hi, Jesse.
Let's go, Josh. I would rather have faith in my team and get crushed versus no faith at all. And by the way, for me, this is not about like faith versus no faith. I look at the team objectively and I think, how is that team not good? And and part of the reason that we're doing this now is also to get out in front of it a little bit, because I have a hunch that they're going to be a bit of a darling this year.
Oh,
I have a hunch.
Oh, love a darling.
I think they're going to be a darling this year, whatever category, however you want to categorize that. I think the analytics are really going to like them because they return all this production and they improve in spaces where they needed to improve. Their schedule is light, and it's the second year of a coach. Analytics love when it's the second year of a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And the recruiting thing is good. They got a huge win with Raiola, obviously. Quarterback, young Dylan. Sorry.
No, let it rip.
So
just got an email from MLB Network. Ron Darling will be here in the offseason.
Darling?
Because Nebraska is such a darling.
What does that mean? His
last name is Darling.
Oh, yeah. But is he coming here?
No.
Oh, okay. You just made that whole thing up?
Made that whole thing up.
Wow. You got me. Went over my head.
Nailed it. Great joke.
This is from the YouTube. Not sure all those superlatives fit the narrative. As we've heard for years, Nebraska football is the better team whilst not winning games, and even specifically against Iowa, but I understand the bit. Not a bit. This is not a bit. I am definitely guilty sometimes of doing bits. I'm legitimately telling you that I think Nebraska football is going to be good this year.
Husker Eddie on Twitter.
Hi, Husker Eddie on Twitter.
You can imagine where he's going with this.
What's Husker Eddie thinking?
Finally, Connor, we agree on something. Go Huskers.
Go Big Red. United States Navy man with 4 exclamation points. Whoa, says,
thank you for your service.
I smashing the bleep out of the over. Ohio State will only be the tough game. Will be the only tough game.
Wow. A lot of people have soured on USC.
Just telling you, get in now, because that number, that little soft little number might go up by the time you're, you might feel uncomfortable.
It's plus what now on the FanDuel Sportsbook?
136.
I love a plus.
You love seeing that plus sign. That's why Josh got really addicted to doing plus 300s in the Super Bowl.
I did. And
did you hit any of them?
Christian McCaffrey, first touchdown.
That was what was the number on that?
Plus 336.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Nice hit. Nice hit, Josh.
Patrick Mahomes was plus 125 to win MVP. Can you believe they give you money to bet on that?
Kenneth said the same thing. I'm a sucker for plus money.
Kenneth, my guy.
Kenneth also says not a lot. That is a lot of pressure on a true freshman with a not very good offensive line. Okay, once again, we're bringing up old stuff. Nebraska.
It feels relevant though.
Does Nebraska have not good offensive line? Does Nebraska have a not good offensive line? Because I do not believe that Nebraska has a not good offensive line. I don't know if they have a good offensive line.
That's where I'm
I
at.
can tell you that they're not
good.
Mm-hmm. They're not bad.
Not trash.
Sure, it's pressure for Raiola.
And Carter Nelson.
Do you guys remember Adrian Martinez?
I remember.
You guys remember what happened in his freshman year?
I believe it went well.
Good. He was good. Yeah, that's right, Josh.
And this is the best quarterback Nebraska's ever recruited.
Yeah, this guy's even better than him. That's right.
Interesting.
So I say all this to say, it actually turns out that freshmen can play.
Remember that Johnny Manziel kid?
Yeah. It actually turns out that if you're good at football, that it really doesn't, it doesn't have that big of a bearing on the general overall product if you are a freshman compared to if you are if you're a third-year guy of a lower talent level.
Remember what Aaliyah said, age ain't nothing but a number.
I always remember that, Josh.
She was trying to tell us something else.
It can matter in moments. It can matter in specific circumstances. But you have to understand. And I know you guys know this. I know you guys get it. And I know you guys are listening to me and you're like, damn, he's making a lot of sense, but I can't do it because I'm so scared.
Exactly.
I'm such a baby right now.
Exactly.
But you have to understand how bad Nebraska's quarterback play was last year. That's most of this. It was so bad. And whether or not you get like a gigantic upgrade or just a regular old upgrade, it's going to be an upgrade. Nebraska's going to be a better football team this year. Like without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. Gary Boy says, Josh, haven't we gotten kicked in the jewels every year enough that it's worth another kick? Roll the dice. 9 wins. Well, I thought that was going to go a different way at first.
It is a better feeling than being the wet blanket. I don't want to be the wet blanket.
From the 402, what the hell are you doing, Connor? I've finally lowered expectations, and here you are revving me up again. Jeff says, screw it, I'm in. I'll break my neck. Text from the 402 has a screenshot from the FanDuel Sportsbook, and it says, you talked me into it. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do with their money. All I'm saying is I love looking around and seeing Nebraska's win total at 7.5 and people being like, oh, dang it. If it was 6.5, I would like it. Like, I just think you guys are in the wrong stratosphere. As we take a look at some other friends, Iowa win total over under 7.5.
Well, that's the same as Nebraska.
Minnesota win total. Minnesota's win. Holy God. This is the first time I looked at this. The Minnesota Golden Gophers, their win total is currently set at 4.5.
Oh.
I'll leave that there without context. Northwestern, 5.5. Now, once again, the Big Ten West versus the Big Ten East doesn't matter anymore, but I'm going to some old friends here. Purdue, 4.5. UCLA, 5.5. USC, 7.5.
Oh, that's the same as Nebraska and Iowa.
Wisconsin, 6.5.
That's less.
Why are all these so low?
What's Illinois?
Illinois, 5.5. Indiana, 5.5. Maryland, 7.5. Michigan, 9.5. I think what's happening is they're setting the number and they're waiting to see where it goes. But this one's going to go up. This one's going to go up.
I feel like there is going to be some movement there because not everybody can win.
I did remember when I did the whole Nebraska's going to get a vote in somebody's preseason top 25?
You did say that.
And I was wrong. But can I take another shot?
Please. Shoot or shoot.
I don't know if I fully believe this. I don't know if I believe this as much as I did the first one, as much as I did that. I think they're going to get a vote in somebody's preseason top 25. But I'll say it anyway, just to see if I'm right. Somebody out there, mildly reputable, is going to pick Nebraska to go to the college football playoff.
Whoa.
No. Once I want to make this very clear. Not me. I'm not saying this. I'm not that far in. Is it possible? Sure. There's 12 teams that make the playoffs. I don't know if you heard this, Josh. There's 12 teams that make the playoffs.
I have heard. I've seen the graphics.
But somebody's going to hear me do this speech, and they're going to be like, oh, my God, he's so right. I love this. Let's just hammer everything. Bang, 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 bang. It turns out everybody else in the Big Ten stinks.
He's boots on the ground. He knows what he's talking
about. Except for Ohio State. I just think there's going to be enough buzz that something will get said in that direction.
I see it now. The podcast of this segment. Connor Happer, quote, Huskers to CFP.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that again. You always do that to me. This is my own show throwing me under the bus.
I got to get the clickies.
Hurting Husker fan. Connor over here saying I'm about to have to change my name to Happy Husker fan. Kenneth, I understand it's not your actual opinion, but this has gone way too far.
Kenneth, we're rolling.
Somewhere along the way, it stopped being my opinion and it turned into something completely different. But at first, it definitely is my opinion.
Blacksmith Dan on Twitch.
Twitch comments. Yeah. Let's go.
Coach R would be coach of the year if the Skurs go to the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Who cares about that?
Blacksmith Dan looks like a badass in this
profile
picture. I
like Blacksmith
Look at
Dan.
This. He's scowling at me.
He's got his UNO hat.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like Blacksmith Dan. Keep commenting.
That's good. I don't care about coach of the year, though. Sorry.
Neither does Matt Rule.
No, that's not why you do it.
Jack John.
Go ahead, read it, Josh.
As Titanic Johnson said while floating on a door, clinging to life, this is the year. GBR.
GBR. Go Big Red. What I'm saying is,
Do it for Titanic Johnson.
do not let the past affect you too much. It's good to have this ground you. Of course. It's good to know. Institutional knowledge is great, Josh. But Nebraska has something that it's not quite used to. And they tangibly definitely have a good defense. Like, just plan on that. That's good enough to. That's probably good enough to get you into a bowl game. I mean, if it wasn't already clear, Nebraska is definitely going to a bowl game this year.
Elite defense.
That's something that I said in October of last year, but just to make it very abundantly clear, Nebraska is definitely 100% certainly going to a bowl game next year. There's not a doubt in my mind about that. And if they don't, we got big problems. We got super big problems.
Have you seen
something horrible has happened?
Going bowling. Book your trips to Vegas now, everybody.
Going somewhere.
Have you seen the story that this is an offshoot?
Yeah, go ahead, because we're done. I've said enough.
The teams that abandoned the Pac-12 and moved to new conferences like the Big 12, the ACC. People forget Stanford is an ACC school now.
Yeah, that's so weird.
They will still be forced to play in Pac-12 affiliated bowl games this next football season.
We live in such a weird world, man.
Very weird. No, the rules don't mean anything.
College football doesn't make any sense at all.